Hello everyone. In today's video, I bring you a breathtaking story of faith, overcoming and a mystical encounter that transcends the limits of life and death. Let's meet Zephyr Wainwright, a young swimmer from Chicago who, during training, faced cardiac arrest and lived a near-death experience, where he witnessed shocking visions about heaven, hell, and the urgency of a profound spiritual transformation. What he saw and heard on the other side will leave you breathless and make you rethink your own existence. So before we start, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you don't miss any news, because this intense and surprising journey will move your soul. I vividly remember that morning in Chicago in 2019, as if every detail was imprinted in memory with almost palpable intensity. The cool spring breeze invaded the pool, bringing with it the light scent of wet grass and the rhythmic sound of water lapping at the edges of the pool. I, Zephyr Wainwright, was determined to push my own limits. As I prepared for swim practice, I heard encouragement from Gabriel Sterling, my dedicated coach, who approached with a reassuring smile. "Zephyr, today is the day. Feel the water, let it carry you." His words echoed in my mind as I dove, feeling the familiar resistance of the water and the anticipation of something extraordinary in the air. Each stroke seemed to carry an omen, an energy I could barely decipher. I concentrated intensely, seeking to break barriers that, until then, seemed insurmountable. The atmosphere was calm, but a silent restlessness was already beginning to settle in, as if the universe was conspiring to show me something that would change my life. As he swam, the faces of the other young people became blurs of concentration and effort, and the rhythmic sound of their breathing mixed with the echo of Gabriel's words of encouragement. I would find myself talking to myself in an attempt to prepare myself for what was to come, muttering, "Just keep going, trust your heart." In that instant, the pool seemed to be more than just a training place. It became a portal to something greater, a prelude to an event that would challenge my entire understanding of time and existence. Every thrust, every stroke, fueled a feeling that something unusual was about to unfold. The routine of a common day was mixed with the expectation of an experience that went beyond the mundane. Gabriel, always attentive, approached again, asking with concern, "Are you okay there, Zephyr? You look different today." And I, with a nervous smile, just replied, "I guess it's just the thrill of trying something new." Little did I know that, at that very moment, my destiny was about to take a drastic turn, taking me on a journey that would forever change my perception of reality. The feeling of well-being and the enthusiasm of the strokes gave way to a sudden silence that seemed to consume all the energy around me. Amid the hustle and bustle of training, an unexpected weakness began to envelop me, as if my own body refused to obey. At first I thought it was just tiredness, but soon a terrifying calm came over me. I was in the middle of an intense effort, and suddenly my heart seemed to slow down, as if each beat became more and more distant. As consciousness began to fade, I heard a confused murmur in the background. Gabriel approached with wide eyes, his voice shaking slightly. "Zephyr, stay with me. What's going on?" His words, filled with concern, barely managed to penetrate the fog that had settled in my mind. I felt a strange absence of pain, but also the absence of life, as if, in the blink of an eye, I had been thrown into an abyss where time stood still. The water, which until then had been my ally, became an indistinct mass around me. My body seemed to float, disconnected, as reality turned into a deep, absolute silence. It was as if I were suspended in a bubble where there was no longer the echo of sounds or the presence of the material world. In this state of liminality, each second dragged on into an icy eternity, and panic began to whisper in some forgotten corner of my mind. As despair crept in, I realized something extraordinary was about to happen. I, Zephyr Wainwright, stood on the edge of a precipice between life and death, not knowing if it would be possible to return. Absolute silence was not just the absence of sound, but the harbinger of a reality that unfolded to reveal hidden secrets to me. Gabriel, his voice still full of hope, continued to call me, but I could barely respond, lost on that threshold where time and existence became uncertain. As darkness spread throughout my being, something extraordinary began to unfold before my eyes. In an instant, I found myself floating above my own body, as if consciousness had detached itself and was now observing a projection of my existence. Below, the pool and the pale faces of coaches and friends mixed into a scene of panic and despair, but I was in a place where time seemed to dissolve. There, in the midst of this panoramic view, I was surprised by a feeling of déjà vu. Every moment of my life unfolded with surprising clarity. The laughs shared with friends, the small victories in training, and even the failures that pushed me to reinvent myself. It was as if every second had been recorded on a tape that now played before my eyes. I heard fragments of dialogue, as if reliving past conversations. "Zephyr, remember that day you overcame your fear?" A familiar voice whispered, bringing back memories of courage and defiance, mixed with the pain of wrong choices. My past self smiled and cried simultaneously, in a contrast that reflected the complexity of my journey. Images appeared and overlapped, each scene charged with intense emotions, moments of pure joy but also dark moments of regret. As I watched, I realized that I wasn't there just to remember, but to understand the reason for each choice. I saw the faces of the people who impacted my life, their eyes full of love, criticism, and lessons. I felt the urgency to correct mistakes and the hope that each future decision could be different. This vision, full of details, was not just a movie from the past, but a spiritual map that pointed to what was to come. In the midst of this whirlwind of memories, an inner voice, soft but firm, said, "This is the time to recognize each step that brought you here, Zephyr." These words resonated like a call to transformation, as if the universe was handing me the keys to rewrite my destiny. The feeling of being pulled into an unexplored abyss was overwhelming. Without realizing how, my consciousness found itself transported into a shadowy tunnel, where the only sound was an inconstant murmur, a cacophony of voices that seemed to echo from a distant past and an uncertain future. The darkness was dense, almost palpable, and each step seemed carried with a weight that threatened to drag me to a place of no return. As he advanced in this corridor of shadows, voices mixed together in an unsettling whirlwind. "Zephyr, listen to me," whispered an almost imperceptible voice full of sadness and urgency. Amidst the darkness, I saw silhouettes that writhed, as if they were lost souls crying out for redemption. With each passing moment, the sound of lamentations intensified, and the atmosphere seemed to pulse with the pain and regret of those who never found peace. "Why am I here?" I asked, my voice shaking, unable to hide the fear that consumed me. One of the voices responded with a compassionate yet melancholic tone. "You stand on the threshold, Zephyr. Here, souls meet to face their greatest fears and regrets." His words echoed in the void, like an invitation to deep reflection. As I walked, I realized I was not alone. Silhouettes approached, some breaking into silent tears, others trying to cling to my presence for comfort. Every whisper seemed to tell a story of struggle and loss, of broken dreams and hopes that never came true. The corridor seemed infinite, a space where time dissolved and reality transformed into pure emotion. In the midst of that journey, panic threatened to paralyze me, but it also pushed me to understand each message. The silent dialogue between my soul and those voices carried a greater meaning, a call to recognize mistakes, to face the shadows of the past, and find the courage to transform destiny. The intense light broke through the darkness with overwhelming force, and in that instant, everything seemed to transform. In the midst of all that darkness that enveloped me, a vibrant light broke out as if the universe had turned on a beacon in my soul. I felt a comforting warmth, mixed with a sense of awe and fear at the same time, and then before me, a majestic figure appeared. It was not the traditional image that I imagined, but a living and imposing presence which mixed fear with splendor. "Zephyr Wainwright," the voice boomed, deep and unmistakable, reverberating in every corner of my being, as if time itself had stopped to listen. That voice, filled with authority and compassion, made my heart vibrate with an intensity I had never felt before. His eyes, bright and penetrating, seemed to know each of my secrets and fears. In a moment of total surrender, I replied with a trembling voice, "Who are you? Why do you call me by my name?" The figure approached, and each step seemed to mark the rhythm of destiny. "I am the messenger of truth," he declared, as a golden light outlined every feature of his presence. "I came to show you the way, to reveal the secrets that your soul needs to know." His words were not just a revelation, but an invitation to abandon the shadows of fear and doubt. At that moment, I was overcome by a feeling that eternity was opening up before me. The figure, with soft and firm gestures, began to describe visions that surpassed human understanding, images of the resplendent heaven where peace and harmony reigned, and of hell, an abyss of pain and despair that awaited those who strayed from the truth. Every word was like a seal of power, capable of altering destiny. As I absorbed every detail, my mind sought to understand the message that seemed to transcend any earthly logic. "Total surrender is the way," said the figure with a clarity that cut to the soul. And at that moment, between fear and wonder, I understood that my existence would never be the same. While the echo of divine revelation still resonated in my soul, an atmosphere of restlessness settled in like a dense fog. The comforting warmth of the light had given way to a biting cold, foreshadowing the arrival of forces that threatened to shatter the newfound peace. I felt my heart race as the environment around me transformed into an invisible battlefield, where light and darkness vied for dominance. It was at that exact moment that a voice filled with resentment and contempt burst out of the shadows. "Zephyr, the light is a fleeting illusion." His words seeped into every fiber of my being, and I could feel the ominous presence approaching with an almost palpable intensity. From the shadows, the figure of Damien Cross emerged, an entity that embodied all the negative forces I feared. His eyes, red like glowing embers, bore into me with a look of pure evil, while a cruel smile formed on his lips. "Do you think the truth will save you? I am the incarnation of your deepest fear," he said, his voice filled with irony and mockery. With each word, I felt the shadows around me twist as if responding to his command, enveloping me in a dense and oppressive energy. As Damien's presence intensified, dark voices joined his chorus, whispering accusations and reminding me of every mistake, of every moment when darkness had silently approached. Panic threatened to overwhelm my consciousness, but even so, the memory of the light and the divine encounter remained like a beacon of hope. In the midst of the fight, visions of Gabriel and Lillian appeared to anchor me to reality, their faces conveying a silent determination. "Don't give up, Zephyr. The battle is within, and you are stronger than this darkness." The tension was almost tangible, and each breath felt like a monumental effort to keep faith. The internal struggle, fought between the seductive darkness and the living flame of light, was a silent and brutal duel. Amidst the chaos, I realized that Damien's every word tried to undermine my determination, but the voice of hope, even if faint, insisted on remaining, guiding me towards liberation and redemption. The cold of the night slowly turned into a calm that, despite its serenity, carried with it the weight of an inescapable responsibility. As I awoke from nights filled with turmoil and internal struggles, I realized that every beat of my heart pulsed with the urgency of a greater calling. In the silence of the hospital room where the dim light filtered through the windows, Jesus' voice resonated even stronger, as if he were present in every corner, urging me to embrace a complete transformation. The memory of the divine figure, and his words echoed, "Total surrender is the way," a mantra that prevailed over any remaining doubt or fear. I, Zephyr Wainwright, now understood that my journey was not just a personal battle, but a message to all those who remain indifferent to the cry of the Spirit. I felt that every challenge faced, every look of despair on the faces I loved, was a reminder that the time for complacency was over. The nights previously marked by attacks from shadows and treacherous voices turned into moments of introspection where the inner truth revealed itself, encouraging me to act with courage and faith. In silent conversations with Gabriel, Lillian, and even Evelyn, who now shared the same transformed conviction, I found the strength to accept that true salvation depended on profound change, not just in the mind, but in the essence of the being. With each step taken, the message became clearer. The world needed to wake up before time ran out, and my experience, however painful it was, served as a beacon to illuminate dark paths. Every word, every whisper of hope, became a call to action, an invitation to abandon conformity and seek genuine redemption. So, with my heart marked by scars and at the same time uplifted by the divine light, I called out, "It is time to leave behind the shadows of the past and embrace the light that guides us to eternity." If you liked this beautiful spiritual testimony, leave a like, comment on your impressions, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to activate the notification bell to watch each new video and help us spread this message to a greater number of people. Until next time.